Oh, welcome students of third year BSc. On behalf of Department of Chemistry, Shivraj College, Gadinglas, we have started your topic from physical chemistry. Name is physical equilibria. In last lecture, we have seen some introductory part of physical equilibria. That is, what is phase equilibria, what is the phase rule, so and its equation, that is P plus F is equal to C plus 2. Then the terms involved in phase rule equations like phase, then components, and degree of freedom or variance, and how any system can be described as invariant, univariant, bivariant, or trivariant according to the number of degrees of freedom as 0, 1, 2, or 3. This is a schematic representation for phase rule equation. Through this, we can understand what is the phase and what are the outcomes by applying phase rule equations. Okay, or the degrees of freedom, how we can calculate the degrees of freedom. If we calculate by applying the phase rule for calculation of degrees of freedom, that is F is equal to C minus P plus 2. So we will get different values of degrees of freedom, and accordingly, as you can see here, case 1, case 2, and case 3. So accordingly we can say this is invariant system, this is univariant system, and this is bivariant system, as the values for degrees of freedom are 0, 1, and 2 respectively. So let us see what are the advantages of this phase rule. This phase rule is applicable to both chemical as well as physical equilibrium. It is applicable to macroscopic systems, and hence no information is required regarding molecular or uh, microstructures. We can conveniently classify equilibrium states in terms of phases, components, and degrees of freedom. The behavior of system can be predicted under different conditions. According to phase rule, different systems behave similarly if they have same degrees of freedom. Again, phase rules helps in deciding under a given set of conditions like existence of equilibrium among various substances, interconvergence of substances, or disappearance of some of the substances. So these are some advantages of phase rule, as well as there are some limitations too. Okay, phase rule is applicable only for those systems which are in equilibrium, and it cannot be applied for out of equilibrium systems. It is not much use for those systems which attain the equilibrium very slowly. So this is one of the limitation for phase rule. Only 3 degrees of freedom like temperature, pressure, and components are allowed to influence the equilibrium system. Okay, so it limited to only 3 degrees of freedom, that is up to trivalent trivariant systems. Under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, all the phases of the system must be present. Okay, and it considers only the number of phases rather than their amounts. So we can say somewhat phase rule is qualitative one rather than quantitative. Okay, so these are some limitations of phase rule. Now let us see further what is phase diagram. Okay, accordingly, if we put a diagram or a graph for a particular system, it is called as phase diagram. By definition, the conditions of equilibrium of a system can be conveniently studied by means of Gibbs phase rule using a diagram or a graph known as phase diagram or equilibrium diagram. So all the phases and their conditions of pressure and temperature, when we plot a graph, okay, of all these phases at equilibrium, then the plotted graph is called as phase diagram. Okay, before that we must know the equilibrium. Okay, so there are two types of equilibrium. One is true equilibrium and other is metastable equilibrium. So what is true equilibrium? In any system, when the system When the same state is obtained by approach from either direction, a state of true equilibrium is obtained. Okay, that means in any direction, either direction means any direction, forward or backward, we will get the same state of system. Then it is called as true equilibrium. For example, this is if this is a system ice and water, a solid ice is converted into water, and at the same time at equilibrium liquid liquid water will be converted to solid ice. At equilibrium both will have the same quantity or same approach will be gives us true equilibrium. Okay, at given pressure, the temperature at which these two phases are in equilibrium is the same. Okay, irrespective of fact that whether the equilibrium is attained by partial melting of ice or by partial freezing of water. System thus exist in true equilibrium. In such uh, position, the system is said to be true equilibrium. But when a state of metastable equilibrium can be obtained only by careful approach from only one direction. Okay, for example, it is possible to obtain water at minus 4 degrees Celsius by careful cooling of water. Okay, so this is possible, as we know that water will be get solidified at 0 degrees Celsius, but by maintaining careful conditions or critical conditions for the cooling and very slow cooling rate, we can get water, that is liquid water, even after below 0 degrees Celsius, that is up to minus 4 degrees Celsius, we can get water in liquid state also. Okay, but at the same time, by melting ice, okay, it is not possible to obtain water at minus 4 degrees Celsius. It is possible only by cooling of water very carefully and very critically. Such type of equilibrium is called as metastable equilibrium. Okay, so further see how to apply these phase rules for different system. So first we will see the one component system. One component system means there is only one chemical entity is present. Okay, I am saying chemical entity, one component system, chemical entity, not compounds or complexes. So just for example, water or sulfur, there is only one chemical entity. So for one component system, if we calculate the degrees of freedom, the maximum number of degrees of freedom is 2. Okay, because if we as the formula of degrees of freedom is F is equal to C minus P plus 2. If we consider only one phase is present, then the degrees of freedom will be 2. And if we consider the maximum the number of phases are 3, then the degrees of freedom will be 0. That means system minimum will have 0 degrees of freedom, that is invariant, and maximum will have 2 degrees of freedom, that is bivariant. Okay, so we can say that all such systems can be completely described by stating only two variables, that is pressure and temperature. So here concentration or composition is out of consideration because only one chemical entity is is there, and hence such system can be represented only the help of pressure temperature diagrams as like this. So this is the phase diagram of water system. First we will see the water system. This is one component system. Okay, this is there is only one chemical entity H2O is present. The three phases taking part in the system are ice, water, and the vapor. As we know that solid, liquid, and vapor state of water. The number of these phases which can exist in equilibrium are represented in this phase diagram. You can see here there are three phases: ice, water, and vapor. And in the areas AOB, area indicates the water. Okay, so here again, now we can explain this diagram briefly. Okay, the diagram consists of areas like AOB indicates the phase water, that is liquid phase. Then AOC indicates the ice phase, that is solid phase, and BOC indicates the vapor phase of water. At These phases and these areas are at obtained at different pressure and temperatures. That is varying pressure and temperature. Again, you can see there are three lines. Okay, OA, okay, OB, and OC. Okay, these lines are called as curves. Okay, so these all and meeting these all three lines are meeting at one point, which is indicated as O. Okay, which is called also called as triple point, because three phases are made at a same point. Okay, again you can see one dotted line, that is OB dash, which indicates a metastable equilibrium or metastable phase of one of the phase from the this water. Okay, so one by one we will see. First we will see the areas. The area AOC indicates the solid phase ice. The area AOB indicates the liquid phase water, and the area BOC indicates the vapor phase. Okay, in any area, the condition of temperature and pressure under which only a single phase exists. Okay, so by applying phase rule, we will get component is one, phase is one, because in area AOB only one phase is present. That's why phase is one plus two. So we will get degrees of freedom as two, number two. Hence, we can say that these areas in any area system is bivariant. This means both pressure and temperature must be specified in order to define or explain the system completely. So if we want to mention the liquid phase of water, we should mention what pressure and at what temperature the liquid phase is present. Similar for ice and the vapor phase of water. So that's why it is called as bivariant. Now let us see curves or the lines, different lines or different curves. First is OB. Okay, it represents the vaporization or vapor pressure curve, because along this curve water and vapor, that is liquid and vapor, are in equilibrium. Okay, so OB at this curve, water and vapor are in equilibrium at this on this line, or on this pressure and temperature line, water and vapors are on equilibrium. Okay, so this curve indicates the equilibrium curve of water and vapor. So by applying phase rule, again there are two phases. Now for this line, two phases are in equilibrium. That means two phases, 1 minus 2 plus 2 will be 1. So that means the curve, okay, for any curve degrees of freedom will be 1, and that's why curves, we are said, we can say curves are univariant. That is, this means that to describe the system at curve OB, it is necessary to state either pressure or temperature. That is, any one of the variables okay, can explain or describe the system on the curves OB. Okay, further, again the curve OB, okay, this curve OB indicates the increase in boiling point. This curve OB increase in boiling point of the water with increase in pressure. The curve OB further abruptly ends at the point B, which is called as critical point, and above this temperature only vapor phase is exist. Okay, so the water and vapors are in equilibrium up to point B. That means the pressure and temperature up to point B. Up to this, the water and vapors are in equilibrium, above which only vapor phase will be existed. So that's why the point B is called as critical point or critical temperature, and this is the critical pressure and temperature of water is 647 Kelvin at pressure of 218 atmospheric pressure, or 2.2 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. At the lower end of the curve, which terminates at the point O, when water freezes to ice. But by careful cooling and eliminating ice particles, water can be cooled much below its freezing point. So at this point, this water will be converted into ice. But if we use a careful conditions, or slowly, we can cool this water below below the freezing point, that is freezing point of water is 0 degree celsius. Below this also we can we can cool the water in liquid phase also. Okay, so it can be extended up to b dash. So this curve, that is ob dash, which is indicated by dotted lines, is called as the metastable equilibrium state of water and the solid ice. Okay, so it is metastable equilibrium is indicated by dotted lines. Now next curve is OC. OC. It represents sublimation curve of ice. So what is sublimation? Sublimation means at melting point a solid compound or some solid substance will directly converted into vapors. Instead of converted into liquid, it will directly converted into vapors. So such type of behavior is called as sublimation. So along this curve OC, ice and vapor are in equilibrium and the degrees of freedom is 1 and the system is invariant. Okay, so at along OC, ice and vapors are in equilibrium and the system will be univariant. Then curve OA, it represents the melting point curve of ice or freezing point curve of water. Along this curve, ice and water are in equilibrium. Okay, OA, the curve OA indicates water and ice are in equilibrium. Okay, so this is equilibrium curve, phase equilibrium curve for the water and ice. The degree of freedom is 1 and system is invariant. It is observed that the curve OA is slightly inclined. Okay, so it is slightly inclined. You can say this is not a though it is straight line, but it is slightly slanted. So it indicates that the melting point of ice decreases as the pressure is increased. Okay, so what it indicates, melting point of ice is decreases, as you can say the line OA is slanting towards the pressure axis. As the pressure is increasing, the melting point of ice will be decreasing, temperature will be decreasing. And the last one is point O. So this is point O at which all the three pages are in equilibrium with each other. So liquid, solid, liquid and vapor, all the three pages in equilibrium at this point, that is ice, water and vapor. Hence it is called as triple point because states or three pages are equilibrium at this point. If we apply phase rule to this point, then we get three phases, one component, we will get the value of degrees of freedom is 0. That means the point O, triple point, is invariant. Okay, so this is about this is about the water system. Okay, so uh, I will stop here and in next next lecture we will see